Everybody loves dads, stories, and the Marine Corps. What could be better than Marine Corps dads who tell stories? Here's another story with veteran storyteller John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad.
Tonight, we're going to tell the story of the worm who lived in the apple. Once upon a time, there was a little worm, and his name was Al. Al the worm.
That doesn't make sense.
And Al liked to crawl in the dirt and eat the stuff that was in the dirt. So he would worm his way through the dirt, eating tiny bugs and microbes and bacteria, and enriching the soil and generally having a wonderful worm life. Until one day, as he was worming along, a beak punched into the ground right in front of him. And Al went, "Oh no!" A bird was trying to eat Al. And Al said, "Ah!" And Al the worm started squinching for his life underground. Worming through the ground. Now, none of you ever hear this because birds are super quiet and worms live underground. But they're just screaming all the time. Ah! And Al the worm squinch, 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 squinch. And he went left, and he went right, and he zigged, and he zagged, and then he would zag when the bird thought he would zig. And he, did a squirrely run. Ah!
A squirrely run?
Squirrely run. And he got into some shade. The ground was darker there, so he knew the sun wasn't there, which means it's hard for birds to fly. So he squinch, 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 and hid. Shh. The bird is hunting me. And said the worm was very quiet until he thought the bird was gone. And he said, "Whoo!" And he squinched one way and ran into something. Ow! Ah. Al hurt his little head. Ah! What was that? And it was wet. It was hard like a rock, but it was wet. That's weird. So what did Al the worm do? He did what any of us would do. He licked it.
Yeah.
His little worm tongue. And it tasted amazing.
Wait.
And Al's little skull with all the flavor that exploded his little brain. Now, Al the worm loved the taste of that, whatever it was, so much that he took a bite. That was awesome. And he started to eat, and eat, and eat, and eat, and eat, and eat. And he was eating an apple, but he had never been around an apple before. He's like, "This is awesome!" And he ate in circles around the apple, because worms eat as they move. So as he's squinching through the apple, and he's just taking bites until he had eaten the whole apple up. And Al the worm was a fat, happy worm under the ground. Woo! That was awesome. He's like, "I need more." So as soon as Al could move, which was a long time because he had eaten a lot, Al started hunting apples. And he found one. He had to go up near the surface. And he found one on the ground beneath an apple tree. And he said, and he went and bit his way into the apple. And disappeared into the apple. And started to munch away happily. But something happened.
Emma.
Suddenly the world went, and he felt like he was flying. Ah! Someone had picked up the apple he was in. What's going on? And Al hid in the apple. Maybe if I'm super quiet, they won't know I'm in here. And then he felt the apple shake a little bit. He heard a weird sound. Oh no. And he put his little eyeball to the hole. He stuck his little eyeball to the hole. And he saw a mouth coming towards the hole. Oh no! He could smell the bad breath. Ah! And so you know what Al did? Instead of being bit in half, like he thought was going to happen, Al stuck his head out of the hole and said, "Wait!" And the mouth stopped. And the apple came up, and Al the worm was staring into the eyeballs of Talia the kid. And Talia looked at Al, and Al looked at Talia. And Al said, "No." And Talia said, "Ah!" And chucked the apple as far as Talia's tiny little arm could throw the apple. So the apple hit the wall. Al's like, because he's hanging out. Hits the ground. He's like, I gotta get out of this apple because Talia's coming. And she's gonna stomp on the apple because Al's in the apple. And Al's like, no! Wait a minute. And Al took one more bite on his way out of the apple and wormed into the ground and ran away. But to this day, Al the worm watches to see when he can get another apple. The end.
That was another story with John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad. Check the show notes for links to his Patreon and website at creativegrumbles.com.